Let us start with today's session. So today's session is all about uh, understanding the problem statement, and as we discussed before, uh, so far the last 9 to 10 sessions were about uh, Python. That means about what does the sort of syntax look like? How do we apply various logic, and how do we test it? And then how do we create classes? How do we create our own data types? And then we also looked into various features of Python and why Python is used and things like that. So uh, from here, what we will do is we will try to apply what we have learned so far. Okay. So in order to do that, we must define a problem statement, and then we will work on that. We will divide that into different parts and then start working on it. And then also maybe we'll build a automated test on top of it, like yesterday we discussed about unit testing. So we'll apply that, and then we'll try to make it like a complete project. Okay, the problem statement is like this, and this is a very small project. That means since this is the first time hands-on on a Python related project. So the scope of this project is very small, but we will use all the things that we already have come across in last sessions. So that is the idea. So we build something using what we have learned so far. Okay, so the project requirements are simple. Imagine that we are running a web service, and web service focuses on collecting COVID-19 data in India and sends state-wise results to users who is interested to know about her or his states. Okay, so the idea here is we saw that there are APIs available which give us COVID statistics, and then state-wise statistics, and then we have passed it just to find out the total number of count in a particular state, or a particular the whole country. So now what we will do is we will take input, we will take registrations from the user end. So we will simulate the registration for now. Later, if we have time, we will build a web service, actual web service, which will take a registration. Will display a registration form. User will input his email ID, and he will select a couple of states or one state that he is interested to know the statistics about that particular state, and we send mails every day to him. It's just like any subscription that we see on the internet. So say you want to subscribe to a certain news articles, or certain maybe coding articles. So if you just subscribe, you'll keep getting mails every day or weekly digest, and then you can read through the articles. Similarly way, what we will do is we will collect the data from a source. We will get that from an API, and then we will process it, and then maybe we will send a mail. Okay, so this is the detailed requirements. A registered user shall get a mail every day containing the following information. Information is email text containing his interested states, data on his interested states. Subject line is okay, COVID-19 daily report. That is, and state name maybe, or a couple of state names. So if we are subscribed to more than one state. Okay, then we will also convert that JSON into a report in an Excel format, and maybe we will have rows and columns telling that okay, these are the states, maybe in a row wise states, and column wise number of COVID cases active, number of deceased cases, and number of maybe cured cases, something like that. Okay. We will make a nice report, and then attach that Excel sheet into the mail, And also we will go one more step, and then we will try to scrape. So it's called web scraping. So we will collect some news from popular websites, and we will look for COVID related news, and then we will filter it, and in the same mail maybe we will send headlines about that. So this is the basic problem statement. And then additional requirement is like maybe if the time permits, maybe we'll use some web framework such as Django or Flask, and then we will host this on a web server, and maybe user will log in, not log in, just open the form, and then he will enter his email ID and click on the states that he's interested to get reports, and then he will automatically get reports. Maybe he'll get daily mails, or maybe he may get weekly mails, but now we will focus on daily mails. Later we can configure that as and we work out through the project. Okay, so we can do that. So this is the requirement. So any questions here?
Okay, so Digant, I had this question on the fourth point.
Okay.
News from top news websites, right? So
Right.
these are something websites which when we're doing web scraping, so does it need any special permissions? Like some websites do not offer API, right?
Right.
So
Okay, web scraping is actually there are mixed views on web scraping. For example, if it is publicly available and if you can view that web page, it can be scraped. So that is the rule. If it is available to public, you can just scrape it. Scrape it in the sense it is not an API. So what we do is we download the HTML. Actually, when you click on a website, actually what happens is we are actually downloading the HTML page that is generated by the server, and then the text is embedded inside that. So if you right click and see the view source, it is just an XML text.
yeah,
HTML text. So from that HTML text, what we will do is maybe we will use libraries like Beautiful Soup or Pandas or whatever is available. So we will try to extract some data, like maybe news headlines. So we will just maybe get the headlines, and then maybe we'll filter it for COVID specific headlines, and then that is mostly string processing job. It is not an API. It is just a file processing. Just like we are processing a JSON file, we will process HTML file. So HTML is also organized format. So we can easily run through the data items inside the HTML, such as heading, paragraphs, and then some text. So there are various ways. We have a lot of libraries which can do web scraping. So here the idea is we will also learn about web scraping, and we will also learn to use libraries which we haven't used so far. So then we will get confidence that okay, we can learn any library quickly, and put it into our project, and then make it work for our purposes. So that is the idea. So we haven't learned about in the first point. We had to this is a mail service. So what we do is there are libraries which can send emails. We will explore that. And then we will learn to that is one part. So second part is how do we look for information, that is like downloading or getting information through a API which comes as JSON that we saw in our previous classes, and then we have to process that is another part, and then process it and make a report, that is another part. So we have about 4 or 5 parts here, and then we will work one by one and then fit it together. So that is the idea. All right, I think this should be enough for like 2 weeks. If you work maybe 1 hour per day, this should get completed, because there will be unknown errors such as installing libraries, or maybe in some path is not configured, some configuration issues, and then something always I mean, once we plan, it's not always rosy road, and there will always be some problems, and with those problems we actually learn more than we expect. Okay, so that is the idea about this small project. So any questions? Yeah.
No, Digant, I think we can go on. Yeah.
Okay. So now, what we will do in this session is we will not get into code. The first step is to do requirement analysis from a developer point of view. Okay. So what we will do is we will just uh, take up maybe a notepad. Okay. So let us look at the requirements here. Okay, this is a web service. Okay, so I'll just copy paste this and try to brainstorm on this. Okay, so let us try to figure out what are the various parts that this project might contain. Okay, so this might change. So this is just a brainstorming session. So what we'll do is brainstorm about it. Okay. First step is to collect data. Okay, collect data. So now here, how is the question? We will attack that question. How? Second part is about mail service. Okay. How do we do that? How to? Then we will learn this, and then maybe third is making reports, because we have to send an Excel sheet, and also we have to send a text containing data. So for making report. So and then maybe fourth one is web scraping. Okay, so these are our maybe four not modules, four areas of interest for us. Okay, now let us look at collecting data. How do we collect data? So how do we collect data for COVID-19? So is there any APIs available? Yes, in the problem statement we have already seen that there are web APIs from where we can collect the data. So web API. Okay, so we will just make a note of it. What API? So we have already seen in our previous class that is coming from okay. So this is our district wise API. Okay, so this is our reference API. So far what we were doing is we used to go to this API, right click, and then save that as a JSON file, and then we were reading that file and doing things. Now what we will do is let us not manually go to that place. Let us try to get it using some library. So here get data automatically. So there is no manual intervention in this. So how we do that, we'll figure that out. Okay, so that is one unknown thing. So how do we get data automatically? Okay, so let us keep that on table, and then so at least we have sketched out what how do we collect the data. So API, and get it automatically, and then maybe parse it and store it in certain data structure. Okay, so in what kind of data structure that we haven't decided it, so let us keep that. So next is mail service. So how do we how do we send mail. So we have to learn about that. So how do we do that? So maybe we'll look up internet like this, and then say okay, Python mail send. Okay, so there are already a lot of libraries that are available. Maybe we'll read about those articles, and then we will look for some examples, and then what we do is we just um, uh, take code snippets from web, and then stitch it to our requirement. Okay, so and then we will also learn about how does the email work. So there is a protocol, something called as SMTP, and then we will read a little bit about that, and we will learn as and we do things. We will learn about how email works, and what are the various methods that we can send mails, and how all the mail services such as Gmail, Yahoo, and other all the mail services, how do they make use of a certain protocol. Those things we will learn while exploring these things. Okay, so that is about emails. So maybe I collect some resources here just for uh, brainstorming purpose. Okay, maybe I'll just collect some examples. So because since we are doing this via library, so here our all the headache about protocol and stuff like that, we do not have to do it our own. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So maybe our input may be maybe a little bit of configuration, such as our maybe username and password, or creating a dummy email, and then using that password, something like that. So there should be some kind of configuration that we will explore as in we when we try to attack mail service. Okay, so then we will try to look at next one. So making report. So how we make report? Okay, making report. What is the format? Format is there are actually two reports here. One is in text format. Maybe going forward we will decorate with HTML while sending mail, so that it appears in a table format or something like that. But for now we will just consider it as text. Okay, maybe as HTML on mail. The reason that we are able to access mail and we are able to see colorful mails is because mail services support HTML. So when we make something text as bold or color, so it adds some HTML tags in the background, and it looks beautiful, or it looks in a decorated way. So that is how the mails mail services support the various rich text. Okay, so that we will explore while doing mail service as well as text format, this one. So second one is we also have to make an Excel sheet containing maybe state wise the report in XLS or XLX, whatever it is. Okay, so for this the additional library that we may require is some library. Okay, I know the library, but for learning purpose we will just look up online. Library will. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just look up Python Excel library. Okay, that's a popular search. It's appearing. Okay, so there are several libraries probably. So maybe this one is to read Excel. So maybe this is to write Excel. So there are a lot of libraries. So we will use XLRD and XLWT maybe for now. So okay, now I have got some resources. I'm sure that okay, I don't have to reinvent the wheel and understand about file formats and stuff like that, because it's all the the beauty about the advanced languages such as Python and Java, because we have a lot of libraries in all of maybe whatever the area that you think of, data science, research, web scraping and stuff like that. So there are a lot of libraries. So just now for now we'll just make a note of it. Okay. Then we'll try to explore and do things. Maybe for example, we will also learn about why there are so many libraries, there are different libraries, XLX. There is also OpenPyXL, and what is supported here, what is not supported here, um, things like that. Okay, so we will explore that as and when we move into the actual coding. Okay, so I have just made note of about reports. Okay, now I will be able to make reports. Fine. Now coming to web scraping. So now I from here I actually do not know anything about web scraping. Okay, so what we will do is we'll look up Google, and then look at examples for web scraping. Python, web scraping, news articles, maybe web scraping example. Okay, so maybe we'll just get an idea about how do we collect the information from various resources, and how do we download, and how do we process that. Okay, so okay, there are a couple of libraries which we can use, and then we can make use of it. Okay, so I'll just make a note of this. Okay, some references. Okay, and then I know that okay, I can do the web scraping. So web scraping actually is nothing but one is downloading the resources, and then extracting the information about it, about what we are looking, extracting information. Okay. Now here we are extracting COVID related information, so extracting COVID. So this is how we kind of brainstorm and kind of put things in now we are much more clear than this. So now this is a simple statement. Now we have, after brainstorming maybe with a couple of team members, or with or if you're building on your own, it's like you have a brain map of where to look things, and how we have divided the project. So we have 4 modules. Maybe additionally we can add some modules such as testing modules, and then maybe we will add maybe we won't do it here. Maybe for running it as a web service, maybe we need some kind of automated builds and deployment, such things. So we have noted down all the things that we need to deliver this. So these are our core items. These are our items which are related to our own project life cycle, or the software life cycle. Okay, so what we'll do in the coming sessions is now we will draw diagrams for all these collect data and mail surveys, making reports and web scraping, and then we will try to connect these dots. Okay, connect these dots, and then we will try to define folders in the sense of modules, and then we will organize the code, and we won't start coding. We will start coding only after a couple of sessions, because coding is only the expression part. So we should be clear about what we are doing, and then we will draw clean diagrams, and then we will identify problems, and then we will tackle them, and then we will start coding. Okay, so that is how we are going to work, as if yeah, we are doing some project in our industry, or anywhere that you are working. Okay, so we will try to so that is all I had. So in this session what we have done is we have taken the requirement here. So basically we are working on top of already a problem statement, and we have added more features. Okay, so this is our project requirement, and now we have divided that into a requirement into different modules or different parts, just to be not to mix up things. Okay, so now what we will do is we will maybe create separate folders, and then we now somehow this needs to communicate, right? So after collecting data, this collection of data should communicate to this module to send the data and making report, and it should also return if I have successfully completed making report, and tell him that okay, this is okay, and only after it is okay, then maybe mail service will pick that information and then it will send. Okay, so we will define interfaces in the next class. So next class is about defining interfaces. Okay, breaking into modules and defining interfaces. So once we do this, then next we'll in the third class, that is like on Wednesday maybe, we will start creating folders, and then we'll start working on top of it. So idea here is what we'll do is we will you might have already seen that I have uploaded I have already uploaded some code in on GitHub for your reference, Python bootcamp, and there is some bootcamp code already. Okay, so we will I will create what I'll do is I'll create a folder inside this saying this is a COVID project or something like that, and then we will I want you guys to clone that. So then we will also learn about how to work on GitHub, and then we will learn about what are the basic commands of Git, and then we will try to check in the code, and then maybe I will review your code, and then we will work as if we are working in a development environment in an industry. Okay, so that is how we will start working, and in the course of this we will learn about how to explore things that we have absolutely no idea on, and then just stitch things together, and we will look up solutions online and things like that, and then just collect things and stitch it together and make a project out of it. Okay, so that is the idea. So that is how the things are built, and that is the idea. Okay, so if you have any questions, I will post this on in Classroom. So just look at all the articles that we just looked at, and then come up with some ideas, and if you have any doubts, we can discuss them. So in next class we will discuss about breaking models into and then defining interfaces, and maybe after that we will learn a little bit about Git, that is code control or version control system. Then we will start writing code into that, and then we will build it. Okay, that is the idea.
Sure.
So any questions here?
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions here, but yeah. So if we can, also whatever the data that gets, right? So maybe before even exporting into text or XLS or XLX
Right.
format. So what we could also do is try building a simple chart using Matplotlib. So using those libraries, if
Right.
we can.
We can actually, in fact, we can send we can send even add a requirement sending a graph of
Correct.
how things are moving up. So that will be
Yes.
a nice requirement. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can add that. Yeah, that's a nice this one.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay then. Okay. So I'll post this and then we'll catch up. Okay, tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.